Hello everyone, welcome back. Network Exploit here, and I am Paspati Bania. I'll be the mentor in this video. In this video, we are going to talk about IPv4 address classes. As we know that the Internet Protocol hierarchy contains several classes of IP address to use effectively in a various situation as per the requirement of the host per network. Broadly, the IPv4 addressing system is divided into 5 classes of IP address. All the classes are identified by the first octet of the IP address. Internet Corporation of assigned name and the number is responsible for assigning the IP. The first octet refers here is the leftmost of the all the and the octet number are as flow splitting dotted decimal notation of IP address. As you see on the display, there is an image and there is an IP which is 192.168.1.152, 192 first octet, 168 second octet, 1 third octet, and 152 is the fourth octet. As we after converting the 192 decimal into binary number, we will be getting a 1 and the remaining 6 part will be the 0. As we know that 1 octet contain 8 bit. 8 bit means either it will be the 1 or it will be the 0 or it will be the combination of 1 and 0. Okay. As we know that 168 is in decimal number, if you converted that into the binary number, it will be the 10101 and remaining 3 part will be the 0 in the second octet, and the third octet is 1. So and when you go to the right to left, if you go to the right to left, it will be starting 1 and the remaining 7 part will be the 0. If you go from the left to right, and the remaining first 1 2 3 4 up to 7 part will be the 0 and the last part will be the 1. As in the fourth octet, there is a 152 in the decimal. As we convert the decimal into binary number, we will be getting the 100110000. That will be the fourth octet. Okay. The number of network and the number of host per class can be divided by this formula. As we know that how to calculate the number of network, will be the 2 power number of bit. That means number of bit means on bit. Either it will always in the 1. Okay. If we encounter number of on bit means the network bit. Network bit means 1. Okay. If any octet positions, if there is a if we count there is a 1. Okay, we count the number of 1 means 1 bit. As to calculate the number of host or the network, we will be using 2 power host bit minus 2. Host bit means off bit. Off bit means 0. Off bit means 0. On bit means 1. You need to be careful in these situations. Okay, what is on bit or what is off bit, what is network bit or what is host bit. On bit or network will be the same because they are 1, and the host bit or off bit will be the 0. And why we have to calculate the number of host? We use 2 power host bit minus 2. We subtract minus 2 because there is a network ID and the broadcast ID. Network ID and the broadcast will be containing the 2 IP, so we'll be dividing the 2. Then after dividing 2, we'll be getting the number of host in that network. Okay. When calculating host IP address, second IP address are decreased because they can't be assigned to the host. Is that the first IP of the network is the network number and the last IP is reserved by the broadcast IP. There will be the 5 classes of IP address. They are class A, class B, class C, class D, and class E. Now we will be talking in more detail about each classes. Let's first of all talk about the class A address. The first bit of the first octet is always set to 0. Thus the first octet ranges from 1 to 127. Is that if we converted that the first octet, if we encounter that the 1, if there is a 1 decimal number, it converted in the binary number, it will be the, if you go from the left to right, it will be the 70 and 1. It will be the binary number. And the class A IP address ranges from 1 to 127. Okay. And the class A address only includes IP address starting from 1, because 0 is reserved by the default gateway IP, okay? And the 127 is the loopback IP. So the class A address include only starting IP from 1 to 126. Okay, that are the IP only used by the host. That means one dot, that will be anything, okay, up to the third octet, up to the third octet, and starting from 126.x.x.x. okay, the IP ranges, the IP range 127.x.x.x is reserved for loopback IP address. The default subnet max of the class A IP address will be the 255.0.0.0, which implies that the class A address can have 126 network, which means 2 power 7 minus 2 will be the and 16777.214 host, which is 2 power 4 minus 2. That means class A IP address format is thus, that will be the 0, and then the first octet that always set to the 0, which if we encounter the first set 0, that means this is the class A IP address, okay? As in class B address, an IP address which belongs to class B has the first 2 bit in the first octet set to the 10, and the class B IP ranges from 128 to 191, okay, and the class B IP address ranges from 128.0.x.x to 191.255.x.x, and the default subnet max of the class B IP address is 255.255.x.x. Thus, the class B has 2 power 14 network addresses and 2 power 16 minus 2 host addresses. And the class B IP address format is 10, and the network bit and the host bit, okay? And in class C addresses, the first octet of the class C IP address has its first 3 bits set to 110, okay? As you can see in this image, there is 110. If we encounter the first octet is 110, then we can say that this is the class C IP address, and the class C IP address ranges from 192 to 223, and the class C IP address ranges from 192.0.0.x to 223.255.255.x, and the default subnet max of the class C IP address will be the 255.255.255.x, and the class C gives 2 power 21 network address, and the host address will be the 2 power 8 minus 2, and the class C IP address format will be 110, and the remaining portion up to third octet will be the network, and the remaining last octet will be the host ID, okay? And there is a class D address. Very first 4 bit of the first octet in the class D IP address are set to 110, means 311 and 0, 1110, okay? Give the ranges from, and the range of the class D IP address will be the 2242 to 2239, okay? If we encounter the first octet is 1110, 311 and 0, then we can say that this is the class D IP address, okay? And the class D has the IP address ranges from 224.0.0 to 239.255.255.255, and the class D is reserved for multicasting, okay? And in multicasting, data is not destined for a particular host. That is why there is no need to extra host address from IP address, and the class D doesn't have any subnet max, okay? We need to be careful that class D do not have any subnet max. And then there is the last class of IP address, that is class E IP address. Class E IP address means this IP class is reserved for experimental purpose, only for research and development, R&D, or the study, okay? Research development, or it will be used for the study purpose. IP address in this class range from 240.20.0.0 and up to 255.255.255.254. Like class D, this class 2 is not equipped with any subnet marks. As we can see that class D and class E, there is no any subnet marks. Okay, and class A, B, C will be having the subnet marks. And this is the last end of the video, guys. Hope you guys have understand the addresses of the class, and that there is different kinds of IPv4 addresses. There are class A, class B, class C, class D, and class E. And hope you guys have understand each and every classes clearly. If you have guys any questions or the doubt related to these addresses classes in IPv4, feel free to reach me in the comment section of YouTube channel, or feel free to ping me in the social media, so we can resolve your query by interacting with these questions having that have arises while watching this video. So guys, in this video we will be talking about the IPv4 subnetting. So guys, this for today video. See you in the next video. Bye bye, have a good time.